Having a tough conversation, but we are having a numbers-based conversation because everybody refuses to have it. The Black community makes up 13% of the US population, commits over 50% of murder in the country, 53% to be exact. Let's take it down so we can compare to a different ethnic group. Black males make up 6% of the US population, commit over 45% of murder in the country. Asians make up 5.6% of the US population, commit 1% of murder in the country. Black males, 6% of the population, 45% of murders. Asians, 5.6% of US population, 1% of the murders. Now let's go into the numbers of people killed by cops. Blacks make up 53% of murderers in the country are killed by cops at 26.4%. Non-blacks are 47.5% of killers and non-blacks make up 47.5% of killers in the country, yet are killed by cops at 73.6%. Therefore, non-blacks are 3 times more likely to get killed by a cop relative to their homicide rate. We've done crime. Now let's go into finances. Who's making the most in our society? South Asians at number 1, dark skin. East Asians at number 2, not white people. Now let's compare Black Americans to Black immigrants from the Caribbean, Black immigrants from Africa. Who's doing statistically and significantly better? Black immigrants. Same skin color? Honestly, Black immigrants have a disadvantage, yet who's doing better? The immigrants. What is the difference between a Black American and a Black immigrant? Culture. Black immigrants come to our country. They value education. They value growth, they value family, and most importantly, they don't fall on a crutch and blame everything on slavery and Jim Crow and systemic racism. Let's do an analogy. If we're in a classroom, there's 26 students in the classroom, 5 started at the school in the middle of the year. We are learning a new math equation. 25 of the 26 students get how the math equation works. All 5 of the exchange students understand how the math equation works. Is it the teacher's problem? Even though 25 of us get how the equation works, or is it that one student's? In the left's world, there's only criminals, no crime. Back to our analogy, the teacher is the US government, the students are the civilians. The left demands that the teacher, the government, change its system, even though 25 of the 26 students understand the math equation. The left does this with everything. They are blaming all of our problems right now on systemic racism, even though the numbers show different. The left does it with Native Americans. They try to make Native Americans in the 1600s seem as though they were just handing flowers to everyone. When archaeologists go in and do their research, we see that Native Americans in the 1600s were enslaving each other, cannibals, and sacrificing children from the sun gods. You have been lied to by the left. And we've seen it before in history. We've seen it when they did it in the Soviet Union. We've seen it when they did it in Cuba. We've seen it when they did it in Venezuela. They are doing it right now to you. It is your choice whether to believe the numbers or to believe what the media throws at you. The media asks me to lie, and I will never lie about what we know to be true. Though the numbers have been in, there is no systemic racism issue in America. There is a culture issue within Black America. We discourage good behavior and we encourage bad behavior. Until that is addressed, nothing else will be changed. People talk about over-policing. When you look at the crime, it is being under-policed. Of course, there's going to be more police in neighborhoods where there's more violent crime. No, we're not going to put community organizers in to deal with murderers at all. No, if we put community organizers in, murder is not going to go down. So let's stop with that lie. In conclusion, we will use my analogy. The left wants to change the teacher's teaching method, which is the US government, acting as though if they change it, it will help that one student who doesn't get the math problem. It will not, and it will screw the other 25. Let's address that one student and address the problems that that one student has. My fellow Americans, every time you bow down to the mob, every time you refuse to acknowledge the numbers and you tell yourself to shut up and just be quiet, you create a lawless, bad, unfree America for your future children and my future children. I will not play victim. Like the left, I will not be a victim. If my children are born into a bad America, I will say I didn't fight hard enough for my country. We have the numbers they have been in. You need to address them and save our country.